Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Ermenkov. Today is 24th of April, 2023, and I'm continuing my series, Daily Reality with Alex. Today, I would like to speak about a very interesting topic that is helping me a lot in the way I'm navigating in reality and the way I'm orienting myself into what is happening daily with us. And I would like to speak today about the reality simulacrum. If you don't know this word simulacrum, you can go into YouTube and you can go into Google and you can find immediately the meaning of the word. But basically, I'm going to do it for you just for the purpose to know it long term also, you yourself, and just to double check together with you. Simulacrum meaning, and you can see in the dictionary that simulacrum is, okay, I'll open also the Wikipedia, simulacrum or simulacrums, from Latin simulacrum, which means likeness, is a representation or imitation of a person or a thing. This is a very important part when we look into the reality, because maybe you have heard that reality is like a mirror. But the problem with mirror is that we basically, because of the way we simplify everything with our mind, we think that reality is only one mirror and that everything is so obvious and everything is so easy to discern and to see, that we are coming into the delusion by simplifying in our mind that everything is just one mirror. But what I have found out, and what is very important, is to understand the principle of the pyramid and to understand the principle of how reality actually works and why what we see with our five senses is not an illusion, is not a Maya, but it is actually a simulacrum. Simulacrum is different from simulation because simulacrum looks like it is very much like the true thing. I am in the pharmaceutical industry where we have innovative drugs, and then we have approximately from 5 to 100 to 200 and even more basic suppliers of simulacrums, of drugs that are similar to the originator, but are not the originator. And usually people say that this type of medicine or medical products is copies. They are not exactly copies, because no pharmaceutical company can create 100% the same medical product as the originator, but it should be in the zone of plus minus 5% into the regulatory markets like the Western Europe, USA, and Japan, and in other countries which are outside of the so-called developed world, plus minus 15% difference from the ideal innovative drug that has been well looked for, and it has been with a lot of studies during the period when it was put onto the market. And now when we live in our reality and when we are looking with the five senses, it is almost impossible to see the original of things. The original of things, the originator of everything, it doesn't matter in what area of reality we work with, it is almost impossible to spot because of the so many simulacrums that exist. But everything always starts in the top of the pyramid, and everything always begins with the beginning. And in the beginning, when creation appeared, it was created in the image and likeness of the creation. It is not only us, the human beings, everything that came into existence, in a sense, was not existence, was not the original creator, but it was in its image. And then the other interesting thing about reality is to always know that there is an absolute source. It doesn't matter if we see it or not. It doesn't matter if we can use our five senses to realize its existence, to feel it, to be able to connect to it or not, only because of the existence of the simulacrum and so many things that appear to be it, appear to be our creator, appear to be looking like the truth. Instead of going into regret, instead of going into despair and saying, well, because of the so much delusion, I will give up on truth. The better solution for all of us, if we realize that even if you cannot perceive through this reality a forest of simulacrums that looks like the originals but are not and are constantly disappointing, our principle of seeking, once we understand that we seek beyond the appearance, once we understand that life is beyond what even is, because what is what we can experience, and what we can experience is only the appearances of the essence. But the real essence is not possible to spot, at least in the experience that we're having here in this realm of existence right now. Doesn't mean that we are not able to be connected to something that we cannot see, to something that we cannot feel, to something that we cannot touch, to something that we cannot sense with the five senses, though we are 100% sure because of the different appearances that it exists. And this is the way reality actually works, because through our mind and through our perception, we are experiencing reality. And then when we go into the beginning, immediately with the creation, duality starts, individualization starts, and separation starts. So creation will be, is, and will always be separated from the source. It doesn't matter how much we have heard about oneness or wholeness, or that we are the source. Because of the so many existence of the simulacrums, everyone can tell you that this specific simulacrum is everything. And what we as human beings are constantly doing, we are going into the identification principle, where we say, well, I'm going to have the identity of this type of appearance. And maybe the next year we have changed our mind and we are going after the identity of another appearance. We are changing constantly our categories about what truth is. But once we understand the truth is something that in this particular reality is not possible to spot directly, but we are able to contact and to be connected with it indirectly, because what the human brain is constantly doing by the discernment principle, we are constantly saying, no, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, for sure it's not this. Yes, I'm searching for something, but I know that it's not this, it's not this, it's not this, because we are constantly surrounded by different type of simulacrums in all realms of existence, not only in the physical matter reality. We are surrounded with simulacrums in the mindset and the mindfulness space, and in the construct where all the programming is happening. Also, we are surrounded with so many things that are similar to what is, but are constantly not able to work, because long-term only what is the source is working into this reality. So when we look in the mirror of reality, what we are seeing, and now let me come again to a sharing of my screen so that you can better understand me, what I mean. I have so many friends that I like a lot, because I like to be around people that don't have the thinking which is like mind thinking. I like to be around people that are with 100% opposite thinking to mine, because it helps me to open my reality. So when we look into the yin-yang image, what we immediately know is the relativity. Nothing is 100% truth, nothing is 100% false, nothing is 100% white, nothing is 100% black. In every light there is black, in every black there is white, and so on and so on, and we can go forever into this type of reality, which is not the absolute source of the beginning, where everything starts only from the existence of oneness and one thing, and this one thing is non-separated light, for example. So on the top of the pyramid, it's not possible such type of existence. Such type of existence, it is possible in the realm where we are existing. What the ancient people have spotted actually through this duality is the simulacrums. And I know a lot of us are constantly fighting for the oneness principle and for the dissolving of the simulacrum, because of the way we are envisioning reality. Some of us are envisioning reality in white and dark squares. And if I'm standing in the white, I'm happy. If I'm in the black, I'm not happy, and so on and so on. And we can see the duality in different ways and different principles. And we can say, okay, Alex, this is duality. One day I'm good, the other day I'm bad, and so on and so on. Or 100% this is good, 100% this is bad. And this is the way I'm viewing into reality. Of course, there is also another option, to ignore reality as it is and to say, no, there is neither white, neither black. It doesn't matter that my reality knows that there is white and black. I will ignore all the black and white squares. I will ignore everything, because I want to experience the existence of the absolute that I don't understand and don't know, but I'm going to ignore all the appearance of the simulacrum. But let me now just give you another example of how it is possible to look into the duality, and then you are going to understand why simulacrums exist and why there will always be an absolute source that will never be changed and that will always be the etalon for the existence of everything. And I will try now for you to find an example where we can see this type of possibilities. And for this purpose, I'm going to open before you by sharing my screen different type of circles. Now, just imagine that the yin and yang principle is like the circle where everything in the center, for example, in this case, and in the center is the absolute, and everything that is going away from the center is the different type of simulacrums, and it is the different type of deviations. Then what is happening with the yin and yang, and what is happening with the white and black squares? Then we know that the above is actually in the center of everything. Then we have only two options, or to go towards the center and towards the source, or to go away from the center and away from the source. And this is something that is happening in all of the realms of our existence. Because if you think that in the quantum reality or in the so-called spiritual reality, there are not similarities, there are no divergence, there are no things that are simulacrum but are not the truth, it is just an ignoring of the real spiritual reality, because it is not possible simulacrum not to exist because of the so many beings that are already created and are constantly creating deviation. So basically there are two types of trends in reality. One of the trends is towards the center, towards the absolute, towards the center of the circle, and the other type is everything that is moving away from the center towards the circumference. The more and more we as beings in our mind, in our soul, in our feelings, in every area of our life, the more and more we are moving away from the absolutes and the walls of the nature and the harmony, we are going to experience more and more different types of deviations. So it is our choice what type of decisions we are going to make regarding the way we are going to view into the reality. But once we understand that basically only this which is in the center and the central part of everything in the universe is where the fundamental absolute is. And if we are living and trying to be in the circumference of the circle, we are going to experience a lot of deviations in our common holographic reality. And for me, this simulacrum principle is very interesting, because when you go into your daily reality, and when all of us are going into the different areas of life and existence, we are going to notice that everything in reality is deviated from the absolute. When can we feel the absolute? Some of us in prayer, some of us are trying to feel it in meditation. We cannot 100% manifest the absolute into this reality, but for sure, at least knowingness of the existence of the absolute is helping us to always center ourselves towards the absolute truth, the absolute love, the absolute everything that we are willing to experience in reality. And that's why in reality, it doesn't matter how we experience it, how much we want to explain that it is something more than what actually it will always be. The more we go with the flows of the deviation, the more we go with the relative principles where there is no rooting into the absolute truth, the more we are going to be experiencing a life without fundaments. I know that in today's reality, fundamentalism is something bad, because if we are trying to transcribe the wordings of fundamentalism, it means going back to basics, going back to nature, going back to harmony, going back to where the human beings is the most centered and grounded human experience. The more we go into the virtual simulational experiences where we are going into the circumferences of the circles, the more we are going to experience different types of simulacrums that are not going to fulfill us because they're far away from the real thing. And there is something interesting about the human being that we can always recognize deep inside of us if something is a simulacrum or if it's in its essence contains reality and contains the absolute. And then we are going into this type of pictures where I'm going to explain you now a little bit more about what actually happens in our reality and why we have all these different types of experiences. When there are human beings or whatever type of intelligent beings that understand that truth is not able to be seen directly from our experiences, we can experience the tricksters. The tricksters are part of the archetypal revealings into our experience where they're constantly trying to deceive us, decept us, entice us into things that looks like they are the truth, but cannot give us the true and authentic experience of the real. So it's so beautiful to go into interaction with reality, but we're constantly dealing between real and unreal, between true and untrue, because between deviation and absolute. And that's why there are so many things regarding, and that's why we have so many oracles in our reality, which are trying to take authority from the beyond and tell all of us what is the truth. But it's up to every human being to go into its own journey of understanding and finding the way of how pragmatically we are able to discover and to start first spotting the simulacrums and to start ignoring and denying without judging, just saying, well, this is very nice, this is very good, this is very beautifully stated, but it is not 100% the truth. So I will take it I will use it to some extent, but with a grain of salt, and I will 100% know that long term, this is not everything that is out there, that there will come a day when I'm going to outgrow a typical saying, a typical way of thinking, a typical way of behavior, because long term, I know that I'm not after and I'm not content with having an existence into the simulacrum, but I'm moving forward towards the absolute source of existence. And this is what I'm constantly going to seek, because every time when we are opening our eyes and when we start experiencing the simulacrums, there are two questions that we are constantly asking ourselves. What do I seek? What do I want? What do I want has another intrinsic inner meaning, what I'm satisfied with. Am I satisfied with different types of simulacrums that are appearing around me? And that's why, for me personally, we have the reality through which we are able to validate everything, how close to reality it is, because our mind is constantly deceiving us and finding for us the easy simulacrum answers and tells us that this is it, stop seeking. This is it, stop seeking. Maybe this is it, stop seeking. And then we're trying to apply different things and we see that it is not quite working enough, or it is working for some period and then it stops. That's why when we move into reality, we are constantly playing with the simulacrum. And next morning, when you are opening your eyes, please have in mind this picture and let it speak for you. If reality is a mirror, you will never understand where is the real picture. Where is the real source? Because there are so different type of perspective towards everything based on the perception and the way your mind is working in the moment and what your awareness and what is important for you in this very moment. That's why instead of being confused from reality and the way we are experiencing, and why we are constantly asking ourselves, what is the purpose? What is the meaning? What is the direction? Who am I? Where I'm going? Why I don't know my beginning and why I'm not able to experience my end. Instead of this, enjoy the maze of reality and always know the important thing is to seek the source, to seek the essence, to want the only thing that is able to satisfy us all, and this is the connection with the source. At least for me, this is doing the job in my daily experience, and be sure I have a lot of different types of experiences, and I'm constantly into manifestation of different types of dreams, of plans, of intents that I have, but I also know how much playing there is with so many simulacrums that looks like the real thing, but are actually long-term not. That's why we are to be after the things that are lasting, instead of trying to go after the shiny and after what is attracting us on a basic soul level. If your mind is very easily satisfied with the answers, it should give you a hint, well, maybe I need to go deeper. Maybe I need to seek more. This should not be everything. And in every direction I'm personally going into in the moment, I am finding so much more possibility of exploring And the only thing I'm doing in my reality here, I'm constantly de-learning and detaching from the different types of simulacrums that are constantly giving me the easy answers that are actually not working well for me and are not giving me the synchronicity and the experience that I'm willing to have in this reality. And that's why you have heard it a lot, and I have heard it a lot, that it is much more energy required to constantly say no instead of just giving our energy, giving our attention, giving our life force to support the different type of simulacrum. Instead of this, the more we are seeking towards the center, the more we are moving towards the essence, the more we are entering into the deep, the more we are going to understand the surface and the effects, and less judgmental we are going to be because of the surrounding of so many simulacrums that are here for us just to give us easy answers in order to stop searching and to stop wanting and to be satisfied with what is not. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your reality. Move strongly forward into seeking, asking deeper questions, and never satisfy with what is not, but always seek for, knock for, and long term, you are going to see a much more meaningful and much more deeper fulfillment, because essence that we are can be fulfilled only through the connection with essence that is. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your reality and have a nice and beautiful week. Bye-bye.